Alrighty, so we're back with what might be episode 3. We're going to record a couple of these today, even though I promised that last week. So this might be episode 4. This might be a cliffhanger, but this might be something worth watching, learning, and staying to the end of the video, because today we're going to start hot takes with Nick at the end of the video.
What?
You know what it is? He might not know what it is, but at the very end of the video, I'm going to say, Nick, I need a hot take on blank, and it'll be worth you watching the end of the video.
Wow.
Nick,
all right. Exciting.
Before we get into today's topic, I want to remind everybody to like the video, which should be like right over here, as you already know. Comment, even if it's just, I liked your video. Subscribe to the channel. Don't be that weirdo in the group of 1,700 people, but there's only 100. Subscribe. Like, help us grow this channel so that more people see something they didn't even know that they need. Nick, what are we talking about on this Thursday morning?
I think we were going to talk about various sales opportunities for Medicare.
I like it. I like it. See, here's the difficulty, though. Some of the most quality training content gets some of the lowest viewership. So even if one of these doesn't seem like it's that interesting to you, one of these 5 sales opportunities in Medicare might be one that helps you really connect with this niche in the business. Nick, let's run through them. What are some of the 5 sales opportunities people might encounter in Medicare sales?
Well, number one, first and foremost, it's the classic: buy leads. It's underrated. It's a classic for a reason. You want to buy leads. We should probably be actually doing this in reverse order, so we can be like counting down, and buy leads is the surprise at the end. But I'm no good at surprises. Buy leads, people. If you go out and you buy leads, you will be amazed at the number of people that you meet who actually want to talk to you about Medicare on a regular basis. It's not always easy to buy leads, especially in Medicare. Medicare is a tough time to get yourself cash flowing if you're brand new, which makes buying leads not always the easiest thing, because you will maybe be running at a little bit of a deficit for the first little bit of time that you're doing Medicare, if all you're doing is running Medicare leads. But get yourself a little bit of runway. You're starting a business. Get a little bit of capital, take out a loan, buy maybe a credit card or 2, buy leads.
There you go. Buying leads will put you in front of the opportunities, but will lead you to actually making the sale. I think maybe the next video we could record are some common cross sale / cash flow products that will keep you in the business as Medicare begins to prorate its sales down further out the year. And then you go into the I'm not making any money period of the year. So maybe we should talk cross sale cash flow products for another video.
I think that's a great idea for a next video. Is, what do you do? What are you selling in August when you're not getting paid very much on your new enrollments?
Good point. What are some other, maybe the 4th common Medicare opportunity that I might encounter to be able to turn that person into a client?
Well, so when you're sitting with somebody, let's think about it this way, because there's ways to meet prospects, but really what you want to think about is like the things that people care about when you're sitting down with them, and what their wedge issues are going to be. And I would say the number one reason why people are dissatisfied with their current Medicare Advantage plan, if they've got a Medicare Advantage plan, or even why they're maybe dissatisfied with their Medicare supplement plan and might be looking at doing something different, it is the way that dental is covered. You would be amazed at the number of people, if you just bring up the idea of dental coverage. MedSups don't cover dental whatsoever. Medicare Advantage plans vary wildly in how well they cover dental, and independent dental insurance almost universally sucks. Really, it's a rough market out there. If you don't have group dental insurance, you are in trouble in a lot of cases. And having a Medicare Advantage plan that offers really good, solid dental insurance is like a gold mine. People will talk to you about that all day long. Not everybody's going to care. Some people have dentures, but
I have no teeth. I don't really need
right. Yeah, you will get that. Like, I don't go to the dentist. I don't have, like, my teeth are fake. But the people who care really, really care. And it is probably the number one hot button item when you're sitting and talking and doing a Medicare review.
Now, I think again that sometimes training topics can become very disinteresting to people that like to watch YouTube videos. But what do you think, as we can kind of unpack this one for a minute, some common things besides dental that people dislike in their current Medicare plans?
Oh, sure. So I would say the next thing people are typically looking for, what's the what's the best way to say this? Uh, our seniors that we are working with right now are experiencing tremendous FOMO. The fear of missing out on something that they think everybody else is getting is huge.
Hmm.
They know that the TV commercials are not necessarily truthful. They know this. They'll tell you this. They'll tell you that they know this. They'll tell you that they know that the letters and the mailers that are coming in are promising things that they don't think really exist. But here's the thing: they really do think that these things exist, and they think people are getting them, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you can provide them with even a fraction of some of these benefits that they think all of their friends or all of the other people out there are getting that they don't qualify for some reason, that they're like, I don't know why everybody's getting all this stuff and I'm not getting anything. You will find that lots and lots of seniors are experiencing that kind of FOMO um, mentality. And if you can kind of tap into that, that is also a tremendous little wedge item for you.
I think two really good fear of missing out type situations, and two, at least get the conversation started or continued, are things like the give back plans and OTC benefits, affectionately called food cards.
Yeah.
People fear missing out on getting money back into their check. Is the commercial 100% accurate?
Nope.
No, but there are Part B give back plans that I'm a huge fan of in situations where I'll give you this one real quick. The lady gentleman goes to Oak Street. Oak Street takes everybody.
Mhm.
Beautiful opportunity. The guy doesn't have any significant medical problems, all like tier 1 type medications. The guy rarely goes to a doctor, doesn't go to a specialist, like hardly uses his coverage at all. Devoted give back plan, perfect option there in Philadelphia. Please tell me if I did something wrong.
No, yeah, no. I mean, that's an ideal option. You get a large amount of money back on your check. You get you get good coverage if you need it, and
Mhm.
if you're not using your coverage, you've got a lot of flexibility there. You get the benefits without the downside of having then been locked into to an HMO, because you don't care that you're locked into an HMO. Similar thing, and another, I'm going to say that another really great untapped opportunity is, we'll call this number 3, working with veterans. Not
Okay.
TRICARE people. I don't want to get into a whole debate about whether or not you should be. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yawn. Nobody
Yeah,
watches. Yawn.
yeah, but veterans, people who use the VA as their primary medical system,
Mhm.
um, the some of the Medicare Advantage only plans are so very benefit rich, and offer you just a tremendous amount of opportunity to get people who have chosen to not have any kind of supplemental coverage, because they're just like, I just go to the VA. I don't even get, I get all my medicines through the VA. I don't need anything else. These are plans that can give you more money back on your Social Security check. They do have a lot of good dental coverage, which again is a hot button issue for a lot of our seniors. The VA has notoriously terrible dental coverage,
Mhm.
um, and working with veterans is an excellent market opportunity.
Let me ask a quick side question,
Yeah.
because I think people encounter this and don't realize it's even a possibility. Of all the Medicare business you could write,
Mhm.
if you only ever wrote people that currently had nothing, like
Mhm.
A and B only, automatically enrolled in Part D coverage, be them dual eligible or not, how many of those opportunities would you say your standard full-time agent would stumble into?
Well, it depends on how you're marketing yourself, right? But you're not going to run into that many people anymore. 2, 3
Mhm.
years ago, 4, 5 years ago, that was a lot more common. At this point, I think the statistic that I was reading is over 50% of all Americans that are Medicare eligible are enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan of some sort when they turn
Mhm.
65. The market penetration on Medicare Advantage is, at this point, somewhat ridiculous.
Mhm.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing income-wise. You get paid so much more if you meet somebody that does not have something. So getting that turning 65 person, which would be your probably fourth best opportunity, somebody turning 65, um, that's going to be ideal. If you can get them turning 65 campaign, and you can get in front of a bunch of people who are turning 65, if you can
Mhm.
hold some seminars for people who are turning 65, and you can talk about the pros and cons of seminars in a future video, I suppose. I can maybe give a hot take on that at the end of some video. Not today. I've got a hot take on the Dodgers winning the World Series. We're gonna come back to that later. Um, yeah, like that person who's never had a Medicare plan, that's like your best prospect, right?
Yeah.
You have that ability to really sit down and educate them and kind of make them your client in a way that you're never really going to make somebody your client as strongly if they've had 2, 3 other agents before.
Mhm.
Um, and you get paid more, which is nice. You get paid the true up amount, and that's not too shabby either. And those opportunities are great, especially at this time of year. You're talking July, August, September enrollments. Those are better if they're those are better if they're new to Medicare.
I had a situation yesterday, which is kind of like this, and I believe I have no statistics to prove this, but on social media, you don't need statistics to prove anything. You'll probably stumble if you're working full time, let's just say life sales, like what I do,
Yeah.
probably 2 or 3, maybe less. Let's just say 2 of them a month, 2 duals that never had anything that you can be the first one to enroll them in Medicare Advantage. And all they're going to show you is their Medicare card, a Part D card. And when you look them up, they've got nothing else.
Yeah.
I think those are the lowest of the low hanging fruit. That even if you just wanted to do AHIP, get contracted with a name brand carrier, and if they don't have anything, write them something, you can still find those, I think, very, very infrequently at least.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely find those people. I also I find those more often, even if you're leading with final expense. If final expense is your main product, and you're meeting a lot of people who are under the age of 65.
Mm-hmm.
60 to 70% of everybody who's under 65 that you meet who fills out a final expense card is also eligible for early Medicare due to disability. If you talk to those people, man, though, that is an underserved market.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are not getting contacted as much as they should, as much as anybody over 65 is, for sure. Um, and they're definitely not getting educated, and they're not getting good plans, and a lot of them are not signing up for anything because they're not getting bombarded with somebody trying to sign them up for something like you do after 65. Yeah, if you can figure out a way to tap into that under 65 early enrollment into Medicare market, that
Mm-hmm.
is an excellent place to be. I think one of the best ways to tap into that is writing final expense insurance, and not a bad way to make a living in the meantime.
Yeah, I found people in their early 30s that are on disability for whatever reason. It's not my job to decide that.
Sure.
Turn down to one of those leads. You're like, oh my God, 32. Am I really working this lead? Do I even send it to my appointment center? Do I even go to the appointment if they book an appointment? You've got to be kidding me. Oh, they wanted insurance. How about that? They have a
Yeah.
bank account. God bless them or whatever deity they pray to. This is a miracle. And
Right.
then I need something to do a year or two later. You're on Medicare? How did I miss this? Boom. A double play right there on the
Yeah.
Wild Pitch podcast.
Yeah. No, I do. I find that the biggest miss that most people who are not running Medicare leads, you're working your book of business or something. I find that the biggest miss that most people make is they don't they kind of prejudge. right? They prejudge whether or not somebody's going to even be worth talking to, and so they
Mhm.
don't ask everybody. They don't talk to everybody about Medicare. They don't let everybody know that Medicare is something that they do. Um, and you would be surprised, you talk to a 40-year-old, you're like, there's no way this person's on Medicare. And they're not, but they like you, and their mom's on Medicare, and they
Mhm.
want you to talk to their mom. Like there's all sorts of opportunities that end up coming up that way.
Before we get into the fourth one, which is T65s, and the fifth common Medicare opportunity, stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to ask Nick a hot take on something. He might know what it is. He might not. I might not even know yet what it is, but it'll be worth watching the end of the video, an uncensored hot take according to Nick's opinion. And
Yeah.
before we get to the end of the video, do me a favor to like the video right now, comment about something you want to have us talk about, subscribe to the channel. Nick, the fourth opportunity you'll commonly encounter: turning 65, new to Medicare.
Yeah, turning 65. Turning 65. I mean, it's a competitive market. You're going to be in and dealing with everybody else. But if you can get in there first, that is the way. Um, and again, my bias towards my agents and my agency shows because I mostly work with I exclusively work with people who are life insurance agents who are looking to learn to sell Medicare. Um, but if you have another book of business, you sell P&C, you sell life insurance, you sell annuities, whatever, and you're tracking people's birthdays because you need to. Um, Man, if you can put together a campaign to reach out to people 7 months, 6 months before they actually turn 65, who are already your clients and who know who you are, that right there is a gold mine. Get to them before they get bombarded with everything. Set up that initial appointment to go over what they can expect. Do it as like a 2 appointment process. Like, hey, this is what you're going to expect. In 3 months, we're going to get back together because you're going to have your Medicare card and we're going to enroll you in something. In the meantime, you're going to get 1,000 letters and emails and calls. Don't talk to anybody about any of this stuff. I will handle it for you. If anybody runs it, if anybody calls you on the phone and forces you to want to talk to them about Medicare, give them my number. I'll talk to them for
Yeah.
you. There's life insurance agents out there who have books of business of 5, 6, 700 people.
Mhm.
And it's not like you don't know all their birthdays. So like, the hardest part is a lot of times people don't keep their data in such a way that it's easily sortable. But if you're new, start doing that now. Be able to sort people by birthday, by birth month and year.
Mhm.
And like, go to town, man. Reach out to all of them 7 months before their birthday and then hit them up again 3 months before their birthday and like go capture that low hanging fruit. Those are the best clients. Those are the easiest clients that they know you.
Tracking birthdays. I think that's a great idea. I actually wrote down here, how do I track it if my primary business is life sales? Just track their freaking birthday, put it
Yeah.
on a spreadsheet. And I always tell people when it comes to CRMs, it's really daunting because you're going to say to yourself, I have all this data. I don't know what to do, nor do I have the time to go back on it. Just start where you are. Like, start this week.
Yeah.
And then maybe if your kid gets sick, it snows, your car breaks down, you need something to do, go back and follow up on stuff. But start where you are. That's all that you can do. My virtual assistant, not virtual in the not a real person sense, but in another country sense, started calling birthdays, just May birthdays this month. I
Yeah.
said, pull everyone's birthday whose birthday is May, call them and say happy birthday. And then we can aggregate down from that if anyone turns 65 this month and pull out data that will turn into these T65 opportunities.
Yeah.
Nick, what is the fifth common Medicare opportunity you want to mention today?
I think the last thing that you probably want to talk about. God, I'm gonna have to go to my notes. I hate this. I have to go to my notes. So what have we talked about? We've gone over
We got
just
leads.
simply buying leads.
Yeah, dislikes, like people that
Yeah.
dislike something about their plan or FOMO about other
Yeah.
things they've heard. Veterans, people
Mhm.
turning 65, and our fifth one is coming up next.
Yeah. So like the most important thing really, 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 the biggest wedge that you're going to find is doing the prescription drug review for your clients. People have, for the most part, a reluctance to want to change their plan. And if you're running Medicare leads, this will not seem like it is the case. And you should be running Medicare leads. Like don't get me wrong. You should definitely be running Medicare leads. But if all you're doing is running Medicare leads, you will feel like everybody in the world is flipping their plan all the time. The
And the
reality
damn
is,
call centers do it too. Oh,
right, yeah.
I'm angry at this call center again. Like, how many posts do we need about that?
Oh God, I know, right? The reality is, like, the people who respond to that stuff, that's like 10% of the population, right?
Mhm.
If you're doing all of the other stuff, if you're working your book of business, you're doing reviews, you're kind of talking to the world, running seminars, you're seeing people that are out in reality. People are sort of reluctant to change their Medicare, but the thing that they will every single time change their Medicare about is when their prescriptions change and suddenly they are prescribed Eliquis and they've hit the donut hole, and they're suddenly paying $5,000 a year for their medications when they're used to paying like $20 a month. Um,
Good one.
you want to make sure that that's the first thing that you're always checking out. You want to check for where you can save them money, because at the end of the day, this is insurance and it should be doing insurance-y type things. Like all of the other stuff, all the extras, the dental, the givebacks, everything, that's a big deal. People really care about that. That's the sizzle. But if you can get to that like heart of the matter, if you can get to that kind of steak portion, that's where things really come together. You want to find those things that are not working on their current plan, and almost always that's going to be drugs,
I
because
like
people's
it.
drugs change and they don't shop it ever.
I like it. I like it. So in the final 3 minutes we have, I want a hot take on social media influencers, the people that say the most online, post the most, um, even sometimes buy likes and subscribers to attempt to look fancier.
Oh, I
Give
don't
me
know. I'll get murdered if I share my actual opinion. People will start hiring hit people to come take me out. Mostly don't pay attention. Like, oh my God, guys, if you have if you have somebody that you're working with that you believe knows what they're doing,
Mhm.
and that you trust is like giving you decent advice and is helping you, ignore everybody else. Almost everybody who is famous on the internet is famous on the internet because they're famous on the internet. They're not necessarily like good at what they do. Um, Almost everybody that you have heard of that is famous on social media for any kind of insurance thing doesn't actually sell insurance. Almost all of them.
Mhm.
Chris being like the major exception. But um, but most of them are really, really good at marketing themselves and not necessarily good at teaching anybody how to sell anything.
Yeah.
Um, and it is unfortunate. I know some of these people personally. I consider some of them friends. I like a lot of them.
Mhm.
They are not people you should be taking advice from.
The reality is, like, we have to force time into the our sales and our agency and our life schedule to spend 20 minutes to talk to other people. Like, the amount of content that some people are posting, you literally don't have other sales time available when you're doing all of that.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just use some law of averages there. Um, I want to throw a couple points out there and then I'll let you wrap up. When it comes to social media influencers and your hot take for the day, no upline agency, IMO, LMNOP, whatever term you want to use, no one's perfect.
No.
Like, if you're constantly looking for the perfect relationship, it's going to be like swiping right on IMOs the rest of your career. No one's perfect. Next, 5% in comp. Like, I'm talking life sales. I can't really talk that clearly on Medicare sales. I just put money in my account from talking to people. I don't know how it works.
Right.
5% comp isn't really always worth it. Like, the amount of disruption in your business it's going to take to get from a 115 to a 120, question those kind of decisions too. Everybody, oh my God, Medicare is mostly life as well. Everyone's under everybody anyway. Like you might have decided you didn't like your upline, but your upline's under your new upline anyway. Like this is a very incestual. I hope we don't get censored for that business.
Yeah.
Do people even realize that?
Well, no, gosh, like there's only three. There's only you've only got three options for ultimate like top of the hierarchy upline in Medicare. In life, there's more stuff, but in Medicare, and this is a Medicare thing, you've got three choices in uplines. Everybody else is under one of those three choices, and there is no option. There, it is getting direct contracts. Is as a completely individual agent possible. Difficult and weird, and you're left with like no support, but possible. But if you are going to be an upline for somebody, impossible. Like the system is designed so that it is not possible for you to have direct to carrier contracts.
Yeah.
If you are an agency owner, you have to be under one of the big three. And under those big three, there's like a spider web of other agencies that you probably have to be under also. Like you're probably at least 2 layers deep, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like you're going to be the same anyway. I was looking at a Cigna commission statement, and the Cigna statements that I logged into because I had nothing better to do for 10 minutes in traffic. Like it spells out the hierarchy. I'm like, who is your FMO.com?
Yeah, right.
Like, who is that? I don't care. It doesn't affect me making money helping seniors. It's just the nature of the business. Everybody's under everybody anyway. Is that really the reason you want to change from one to the next?
And especially with Medicare, like street level is street level, man. There is no variance. Like there's nothing that anybody can do to give you like above street level contracts unless you are actually running an agency, and the carriers require you to actually be running an agency with agent. Like there's just nothing that anybody can do. Having layers above you will not in any way affect your commission. Your commission is going to be what your commission is.
Yeah. So the moral of the story on hot takes is not that you shouldn't ever change who you're working with, because then I would never be able to recruit anybody, and neither could Nick, but that everybody who says something online with the most likes or the most overseas likes may not actually be somebody who is the best, biggest producer, best connection for you, so on and so forth.
Yeah. The take is like work with people who are actually going to help you and who have been there and done that and know what they're talking about, and don't work with people who are just very loud and spend a lot of time making social media posts.
Frank Lucas said in American Gangster, the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. And that movie, I believe, is some form of semi-biblical off-book truth. Thanks for watching today's video. We'll have another one, hopefully, maybe a bonus one for the week ahead. Like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and maybe you'll see tomorrow or the next day what Nick's hot take is at the end of the next video. Thanks for watching.